Namaste dear ones. Today I want to talk about the evolution of soul, how it happens. This is like the time and space journey of the cosmos, of one kalpa. It's called kalpa or one eon. The time and space moves like this. From Satyuga to Treta Yuga, from there Dwapara Yuga and then Kali Yuga. This is the current time. So it's like train journey. It's like circular journey, but if you consider like a train journey, when you get into the train, you wear very good clothes. Let's imagine you are wearing white clothes, white shirt, white pants, and you are fresh basically. So imagine you travel for about 2-3 days, and imagine you get off at a railway station. And then again you come back, join the train. So by the time you get off at the first station, your clothes would have got a lot of dirt. Like so many patches and all would be there. Or stains and all on your pants and shirts. And when you get off, it's like death for the souls. Again they join the train. That's the journey of the soul evolution. But when they join the train again, they would again come back with the stains and patches on their clothes. So the journey goes on like that. So imagine the journey goes like this for thousands and thousands of years like this. So imagine the souls, how dark and how badly they should have got the dirt on their pants and shirts. Those are nothing but the traits and karma. Because of that, they would not have any soul energies, no energies. So when they actually began when the creation happened, when the soul started their journey, they were so fresh. Then there were no gurus and all. Then there were no gurus. Straight away, the souls were directly connected to the supernatural power and the nature. They did not have to do any meditation and all. The moment somebody closes their eyes or if they ask a question within, they would get the answer. And they used to live like that. And the souls were so fresh. Because of that, they had great spiritual energies, proper vision, perception they had. So they could directly contact the supernatural power and the nature. And they could get the directions in the form of voice and in the form of vision and all, visions and all, and they would carry their lives. So that's how it happened. But when it came, as the time and space moved downward, as the journey happened, the souls started losing their energies. So they started getting the disconnection from the supernatural power and nature. And slowly they started falling down. They started losing more and more energies. So they lost the connection directly. So what supernatural power and nature did was, in order to energize these souls, in order to keep their journey happening in a continued fashion, at the same time to cut their problems in lives and all, they sent so many gurus. So many gurus came. All the gurus came, and from those gurus again several other, their own followers, they also became gurus. So imagine there is a path, for that there is a super guru, and down below there are so many gurus. So like that, humanity has got connected to these gurus now. They lost the connection with these. Now humanity, human consciousness has crossed not even Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, but it is Kali Yuga, totally dark. They lost the power to communicate with these gurus also. Forget about supernatural power. They lost the connection with these gurus also. They are directionless totally. So they are There are so many other gurus who are coming up. They go there, they follow whatever they want to follow, and think this is how it's happening now. Now, all these gurus, for all these gurus, there is one realm called Guru Mandal. It is called Guru Mandal. Means it's a realm of gurus where the gurus' souls are there together. The gurus' remain in the form of souls. Imagine like Vivekananda and all those, who got liberated and all, they remain in the form of souls. And when they lived on the earth, they would have had some disciples who follow their path and all. Even now some people follow this guru. Now, this guru's soul has the responsibility to carry forward all these souls and show them the way to go back to the source. That is the responsibility of these guru souls, all guru souls. Now, if you check actually, if you go to any ashram or if you go check with the disciples of all those gurus, XYZ gurus, the question is, are they 100% following what their guru said? No. If they 100% follow, definitely they would be on the way back to the source. They must be in the very, very preliminary levels or preliminary layers of connecting to the guru itself. They have not properly connected to this guru soul itself. After connecting to the guru soul and after following the guru's path perfectly, and then guru will show the way back to the supernatural power. And how these gurus again work? These gurus work as soul. These gurus work as soul, and these gurus also identify some bodies on the earth. Some other spiritual practitioners are some gurus. These soul gurus would communicate with these physical gurus and say, please, I will send my disciples to you, you please guide them. This is how they communicate. Because they cannot take they cannot take body and come. They can come, but once they take the body, there are higher chances of they getting trapped in the journey again. Because of the mind and all these things, they have higher chances of getting into karma again. So, most of the souls, including Devatas, divine souls, not even Shiva, Vishnu, nobody comes down because of this. They won't come down by taking the body. So, they take the help of another body who is there, and then with that body, this Vivekananda soul or whatever the Guru soul communicates with this body, and then I will send most of my disciples to you, you help them. Why he will say like that, Because this Guru's soul will not be totally released from this Guru Mandal also. Nature is still holding the Gurus in this realm. They are also stuck in a way. Unless until they release all these followers, these Guru souls will not go out of Guru Mandal. There are many other, many of you do not have the access to Guru Mandal, but those who know Guru Mandal, they can easily understand or know that most of the Gurus are unhappy. Their souls are unhappy. Meaning the Guru's souls totally lose the energies, soul energies. They can neither come down nor they can go up. This is how they are stuck, the Guru's souls. So becoming Guru is not an ordinary thing. There is a higher level of complexity after leaving the body for the Guru. So this is the way Guru Mandal and Gurus work. Now in the process of journey downward, the nature has sent all these Gurus. Imagine you are there. Your soul must have gone through so many Gurus in your soul evolution. through thousands and thousands of lives, you must have been, these gurus also would have would belong to various levels of evolution. It's like a school, you have first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and then you have higher school and then college and all these, So like that, from one guru to another guru, from another guru to another guru, your soul gets passed. And then you will evolve. That's how you will evolve. The objective of all these gurus is to connect you back to the supernatural power and nature. This is the objective of these gurus. This is the work of these gurus. What's happening with you is, over so many years of births and deaths, you have been evolved through so many Guru 1, Guru 2, Guru 3, Guru 4 and so many gurus. So you've been carrying various spiritual practices of various gurus. They are all embedded in your soul. So they are like, say, wearing clothes. So imagine you have gone through, say, some 20 to 30 gurus. You've gone through all this journey. For every guru, imagine there is a shirt you are wearing. So on your soul, there are 20 layers of shirts on your soul. These are all the paths and technologies of all the gurus. Okay. Now, in the downward journey, what happened with you was, in the downward journey, you gone through so many gurus and you started wearing so many shirts. Now, after your Spanda Kriyas, the initial level of Kriyas, which is meant for you to take up Manthan Kriya and evolve, in this process what happens is, it is upward journey. It is upward journey. So in the upward journey, what you have to do? What is the objective? The objective is to connect to the supernatural power and the nature, right? So what you have to do? You have to basically strip your shirts. You wore about 20 to 30 shirts through all gurus. So you have to undress every shirt you've been wearing for all the years. So layer, like onions. Onion has got so many layers. Like this. Layer by layer, you have to uncover. You have to remove all the shirts. And then in the path of Ahomism, what happens is, you are directly connected to the supernatural power and the nature. You are not connected to me also. No, me means I am saying my body. No, I am not body actually. I am formless. I am Nirakara. I am there everywhere. That is what I am. Super consciousness. You are also the same. You are also super consciousness in reality. But the only thing is, you do not know it, I know it. That's the only difference. It's like you stand in the light, everybody has the shadow. You also have the shadow, I also have the shadow, and even if Shiva comes down or whoever comes down, everybody will have the shadow. You are not aware of your shadow, whereas I know that I am shadow, I am not this body. So from that shadow beingness, from that super consciousness, from that beingness I am talking. So in reality, when I am that, you don't have to follow my body. You follow the supernatural power and nature. That is what happens in the path of Ahomism. So in the path of Ahomism, you will be unstripped and disconnected from all these gurus.